Beneath your skin, circulating through your vessels at this very second, is a specialized liquid code. It defines your identity, maps your ancestral journey, and determines who can technically save your life during a crisis. Most of us know if we fall into the A, B, or O category, but the Y remains a mystery to many. Why do these distinct variations even exist? In today's video, we are breaking down every major blood group. We're diving into the deep history of their origins and exploring the unique advantages and disadvantages of each. We'll discuss the ancient survivalist roots of type O, the settled farming origins of type A, the nomadic travelers of type B, and the rare modern hybrid known as type AB. Furthermore, we will clarify the positive and negative symbols, the Rh factor, and explain why that tiny sign is so critical for blood transfusions and pregnancy. By the conclusion of this video, you will understand exactly who you can provide life-saving help to and who can do the same for you. Let's jump right in. Type O, the ancestral hunter. We begin with the biological powerhouse. Type O is the most prevalent group and is widely considered by historians and geneticists to be the foundational blood type of humanity. If your blood is type O, you are essentially a walking genetic archive of the very first humans. The narrative of O. Picture the world roughly 40,000 years ago. Humanity wasn't settled in urban centers or harvesting crops. We were hunter-gatherers. Our ancestors were tracking wild game and battling for survival in unforgiving environments, consuming a diet almost exclusively made of high-protein animal meat. This is the crucible where type O was forged. In this evolutionary context, O practically stands for old. To endure a prehistoric world teeming with pathogens and lacking modern medicine, these ancestors required an incredibly robust immune system. Their physical systems adapted to metabolize meat with high efficiency and to neutralize infections with extreme aggression. If you are type O today, you are the direct legacy of those survivors. Your biology is still calibrated for high-intensity movement and animal-based proteins. The pros and cons of type O. Because this type was built for durability, type O individuals typically possess very resilient digestive systems and powerful immune responses. You have an inherent biological shield against several major infectious diseases. However, there is a catch. An immune system that is too aggressive can sometimes turn inward. Type O individuals are more susceptible to certain autoimmune conditions, where the body mistakenly targets its own tissues. Additionally, statistics show a higher frequency of stomach ulcers in type Os due to elevated levels of stomach acid, a biological leftover from the days when your predecessors needed to process raw protein rapidly. Donation and logic of O. The life-saving capacity of type O is immense. If you are O positive, your role is vital. You can provide blood to any positive recipient, A positive, B positive, AB positive, and O positive. This accounts for roughly 80% of all people. On the flip side, you can only accept blood from other O types, positive or negative. You cannot receive A, B, or AB without your immune system triggering a defensive attack. If you are O negative, you hold the title of universal donor. In the medical profession, this is considered liquid gold. Your blood is compatible with virtually every human on the planet. When an emergency room receives a trauma patient and there is no time for testing, doctors reach for O negative. The trade-off for you, however, is strict. If you are O negative, you can only be saved by O negative blood. You are the world's ultimate helper, but you rely entirely on your own rare kind. Type A, the settled cultivator. As the human narrative progressed, our lifestyle shifted, and our biology followed suit. Between 15,000 and 25,000 years ago, humanity began to move away from the hunt and toward the hearth. We started building permanent communities and farming the land. This era marked the emergence of type A. The narrative of A. Type A arrived during the Neolithic Revolution. Humans began congregating in dense settlements, shifting their diet toward grains, wild berries, and harvested crops. The fierce, reactionary immune system of type O was no longer ideal for this social shift. Living in close proximity meant that illnesses could spread like wildfire, so the human body adapted to be more cooperative and tolerant. Type A evolved to efficiently process complex carbohydrates and plant fibers, the new fuel of the agricultural age. If you carry type A blood, your ancestors were likely the world's first organized farmers and vegetarians, individuals who prioritize social structure and cooperation. The pros and cons of type A. The primary strength of type A is a sensitive, highly organized immune system that excels at nutrient preservation. Because you naturally produce less stomach acid than a type O, you likely feel your best on a plant-heavy or low-meat diet. The downside, however, is that this cooperative biology makes type A individuals more reactive to environmental stress. Biologically, type A's often maintain higher baseline levels of cortisol. This makes you more vulnerable to anxiety and cardiovascular issues if stress isn't managed. You might also find that eating heavy amounts of meat leaves you feeling drained or lethargic, simply because your system isn't optimized for it. Donation and logic of A.
If you are A positive, you can donate to fellow A positives and AB positives. You are a cornerstone for others in your group. You have several options for receiving blood, as you can take A+, A-, O+, or O negative. If you are A negative, your blood is significantly rare. You can give to any of the A or AB groups, regardless of their Rh factor, making your donation highly versatile. However, your intake is limited. You can only receive A negative or O negative blood. Type B, the adaptable Nomad. Now we shift our gaze to the rugged, freezing landscapes of the Himalayas and the vast Eurasian steppes roughly 10,000 to 15,000 years ago. This is the birthplace of Type B. The narrative of B. Type B emerged among nomadic tribes who transitioned from hunting to herding. These groups lived in high-intensity environments, constantly migrating across vast distances. Their diet was a diverse blend, meat from their livestock combined with cultured dairy products like yogurt, cheese, and milk. Because they were always encountering new environments, their immune systems had to become remarkably flexible. Type B represents the perfect middle ground between the aggressive Type O and the sensitive Type A. If you are Type B, your ancestors were hardy explorers who thrived on the move, developing a high tolerance for varied diets and diverse bacteria. The pros and cons of Type B. The greatest advantage of Type B is total dietary freedom. You are the only group that truly flourishes on dairy. While O and A types often struggle with lactose, Type B evolved specifically to process it. Generally, you possess a sturdy immune system and handle stress with more balance than Type A, often finding a healthy equilibrium between mental focus and physical drive. The vulnerability here is a susceptibility to slow-acting viruses and certain autoimmune conditions, such as multiple sclerosis or lupus, particularly if the body's internal balance is disrupted. Donation and logic of B. If you are B positive, you can provide blood to other B positives and AB positives. You can accept blood from B+, B-, O+, and O negative. If you are B negative, you are quite rare. You can donate to B+, B-, AB+, and AB-. But consistent with other negative types, your receiving options are narrow. You can only accept B negative or O negative blood. Type AB, the modern fusion. Finally, we come to the newest and most elusive group, Type AB. The narrative of AB. Type AB is the modern blood group. It didn't even exist 10,000 years ago. It only appeared about 1,000 to 1,200 years ago during the era of great human migrations. It likely surfaced when the Type A populations of Europe intersected with the Type B nomadic groups from the east, such as the Mongol invaders. It is a literal biological merger. If you are Type AB, you represent two different worlds meeting. By carrying both A and B antigens, your blood serves as a complex map of relatively recent human history. Less than 5% of people on Earth share this type. The pros and cons of Type AB. Type AB inherits a mix of traits from both its parents. You share the lower stomach acid of Type A, but have the meat adaptation of Type B, though you may still find meat difficult to digest fully. This makes your digestive needs somewhat complex. Moderation and variety are key. The massive pro here is immunological. Because your blood recognizes both A and B proteins as self rather than invaders, you have an extremely tolerant immune system and are less prone to severe allergies. However, that same tolerance can be a weakness. Sometimes your immune system might be too slow to recognize and attack actual threats. The logic of AB. This is where Type AB takes the lead. If you are AB positive, you are the universal recipient. You can accept blood from any type, O, A, B, or AB, regardless of the plus or minus. This makes you the easiest patient to treat in a medical emergency. The catch, however, is that you can only donate to other AB positives. You are a biological receiver, but that is a necessary part of the human ecosystem. If you are AB negative, you are the rarest standard blood type on the planet, found in 1% or percent population. You can receive from any negative type, and you can donate to both AB+ and AB- recipients. The Rh factor, the plus and the minus. We've discussed the letters, but we haven't touched on the most important mathematical symbol in your veins, the Rh factor. The history of Rh. In the 1940s, researchers Carl Landsteiner and Alexander Wiener identified a specific protein on the red blood cells of rhesus monkeys. They soon discovered that most humans carry the same protein. If it's present, you are Rh positive. If it's absent, you are Rh negative. The positives. About 85% of people are Rh positive. This is the evolutionary standard, indicating a long lineage of ancestors with this specific marker. The negatives. The remaining 15% are Rh negative. This group remains a mystery. Some scientists trace high clusters of this mutation to the Basque region of Spain and France, suggesting it might be a remnant of an isolated ancient European population. Pros, cons, and the silent killer. If you are positive, your advantage is medical safety. You are easy to keep alive because you can accept both positive and negative blood. Your body doesn't mind if the protein is missing in donor blood. It only reacts if a new protein shows up. If you are negative, your advantage is that you are a group hero. An A negative person can save an A positive or an A negative person. The disadvantage, however, is dangerous. You cannot receive positive blood. If positive blood enters your system, your body views that Rh protein as a hostile invader and launches a full-scale biological war, which can lead to organ failure. Historically, this was a silent killer of infants. If an Rh negative mother had a child with an Rh positive father, the baby might be Rh positive. During the first birth, the blood might mix, causing the mother's body to create antibodies, essentially biological sniper teams trained to destroy Rh positive cells. In a second pregnancy, those antibodies could cross the placenta and attack the unborn baby. For millennia, families lost children to this mysterious war in the womb without ever knowing why. Today, a simple shot called Rogam prevents this, saving millions of lives, a testament to the power of understanding these differences. The Holy Grail, golden blood. Before we conclude, we must mention the rarest blood of all, Rh-null, also known as golden blood. There are fewer than 50 known individuals on the planet who possess this. These people don't just lack the main Rh protein, they lack all 61 antigens in the Rh system. It is incredibly precious for science and for saving patients with extremely rare blood subtypes. However, for the owners, it is a curse. If someone with golden blood is in an accident, they can only receive blood from the few dozen other people on Earth who have it. Most must donate and freeze their own blood just to stay safe. Conclusion. Your blood type is far more than a label on a medical file. It is a living history book. Whether you are the ancestral hunter, O, the settled cultivator, A, the adaptable nomad, B, or the modern fusion, AB, you carry the saga of human survival in your circulation. The next time you see a blood drive, remember this story. If you're an O, they need you urgently. If you're an AB, you're genetically lucky, but you are the only ones who can help your own kind. The most beautiful thing about our species isn't our differences. It's the fact that despite them, we can literally share the gift of life with one another. Thanks for joining us. If you're curious about what your blood type reveals about your longevity, check out our other video on that topic. Don't forget to subscribe and stay curious.